Hey everyone, welcome back to episode number 4 of Wilderness SMP. Yep, it has been since August since I've put this last video up for Wilderness. As you know, we have been doing a lot of work on Dragonfell SMP between this time. But it's time to get into it, and can I give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of what we've been doing as we now began our project on Treetopolis. Treetopolis is a sort of dystopian sort of city that we're building, built using diorite, andesite, calcite, quartz, bone block, mushroom stem. It's a bit of everything, including copper, acacia, and I'll probably give you guys a bit of a rundown at the end of the video after I complete the time lapse, because obviously I'm recording this months after when we first started doing this, and I've been doing a lot of it offline in my spare time, just whenever I get an opportunity. But just between now and then, obviously, thank you very much for those that have obviously been watching and tuning in, because we actually hit 1,000 subscribers just after our last video on YouTube. So thank you very much for those that obviously do subscribe. So remember, do so. If you don't subscribe, please be sure to do so. It really, really helps us. And yeah, we'll get into this one. So Wilderness SMP is a community-based server. If you are following along, you can actually join this server if you want to. It's 40,000 channel points if you watch on Twitch, and you can redeem that to join us. Now, at the moment, there's obviously quite a few members of each of the different members' communities in here already. Some of the names are quite familiar to a lot of people in our live streaming platforms, and we have been streaming a lot more on Twitch recently as well, and TikTok and YouTube of this build progress. So we are actually quite far ahead as I'm obviously uploading this video today. But where we kind of got to is over a few different parts. So this was all recorded using replay mod, and you'll see at the end I've actually changed to use flashback mod. When I started recording this part, the Pale Wood update wasn't out yet, but at the end you can tell the Pale Wood update is out after this. We've done an update on the server, so it's kind of chopping and changing this one. This video I was kind of reluctant to put out, but I really like the footage and the content, and it kind of shows the whole build progress. But the reason why I held off on this build was I waited for the Pale update, or the Pale Wood update, because I really wanted to use the Pale Wood in this build, and I could wait, like I think it was like 2 months I had to wait for the mods to update. So in the meantime, I cleared out the terraforming ready for the Pale Wood update, and after the Pale Wood update, we were able to get into it. So myself and Luna actually came and helped us to clear out with a couple beacons at the top. You might have noticed that just a second ago. And this is me now getting to the build. This is actually 2 weeks worth of work. No, a week's worth of work. Yeah, it was 1 week's worth of work over the past sort of 7 days from today. 3 streams, and we managed to get the lower section of this build done. So we're going from a sort of a combination of tough, mossy cobblestone, andesite, into the Pale Wood stripped, smooth quartz, bone block, mushroom stem, and then the Pale Wood details for the railings at the top. There's not a lot of detailing being added yet. That's something that's going to have to come quite a lot down the pipeline. At the moment, we're just putting up the main constructs of the wall. I'm not really in a position to do detailing just yet because there's so much work to do. I'll probably come back to adding those slightly later on once we get a lot more of the build done. And we'll come back and just refine it a little bit with a little bit of wear and tear in the walls, a little bit of copper, a bit of acacia, indentations, and that's things we'll add slightly later. But certainly this has been one of the biggest challenges I've been. Might be, I don't know if it's the biggest build I've ever done. The Steampunk City, which I've not got around to ever finishing, is still certainly going to be one of the biggest I've done to date. But this will be certainly the most condensed building I think I've done. Taking a lot of inspiration from Steampunk, from Dragonfell that we're building on, and from other content creators around the platform. I've been kind of trying to, get inspired to do something, and I'll probably put a link in the description of the person's Twitter and Instagram who I got the inspiration from. It was a pixel art sort of using Blender, or voxel art I think they call it, and I loved it. I saw it right away and I was like, oh my god, I'd love to be able to create something similar to that. So I'll maybe even link the picture up on the screen just now so you can kind of see it. But you see here, we're now kind of working our way around from the right to the left. This is me now getting to the Friday stream. The Friday stream, we really wanted to complete this end section here with the underneath sort of side a little bit more hollow than the other bridges or sort of tunnels that we did. You can see here that I just built it underneath on this left. But this was now by the Friday, we're just wrapping up this section to kind of bring it all to a close really for the lower ground area. No, it is, as of today, it is Saturday right now. I am recording this right at the end of the night. You might hear rain above me, so unfortunately it's absolutely hammering it down on my glass roof. So you might hear a bit of rain tonight on the video audio. But we managed to get a little bit of work done today, kind of on and off for this build as well. But here is the path. Thank you very much for those that did obviously tune into the live stream. It kind of helped us with a block palette for this. We did do it as a sort of worn and torn effect with the stone and the site tuff on the top as well, just like what we do at the bottom here. Anyways, this weekend, this is something that I didn't do in stream. I was going to save it for stream, but I thought I'll just do it offline. It's kind of monotonous, it's kind of repetitive, it's not really that interesting, so I just thought I'd do it off stream. So just kind of tailing up the end of the time-lapse section just at the beginning of the video. I'll keep it nice and short. It's about 5-6 minutes long so far. I don't want to go too long here and bore you guys completely to death of the whole process. But we've managed to do all of the tunnels underneath. This is sort of the second from last year. I already done a little bit before just to see what it would look like, so there wasn't much to add on here. And then the last little tunnel just to the right hand side of this would be the last one, this one here. So yeah, as you can see, it was a little bit fiddly to kind of get it through and take down a wall, and there's obviously still a little bit at the back still to do, but for the most part, you know, it's looking pretty good. The whole ground section only took us 3 days, or 3 streams. However, the top section, as we'll kind of move on to just in a moment, will be a little bit more work, let's just say. Will take us a little bit of time, but I'll hand you over to Tree. I'll take you for a little walkthrough tour of the base so far, and just going to talk about the next steps from here. Right, welcome on in. Hi everybody, it's actual real world me. Woo! Thank you very much for joining us. I am acutely aware, guys, it is raining outside and I have a glass roof and I think it's very noisy. This is the second time I'm going to record this, and whatever happens, I'm so sorry. I can't really do anything about it. I thought I'd start up on the ship because this is where episode number 3 ended, was with this build here. And it's been a long time since we've obviously got to go around this build. And yeah, it's been crazy. The last episode we did was in August, just as my daughter was born. I took a little break, started with Dragonfell, got that done, and then I never really got round to coming back into Wilderness for episode number 4, unfortunately. It was just a big break between. But we did get there eventually, so yeah, here we are. We're on Wilderness SMP. Now I'm going to fly up here and go to the top of my little tower and break down what's been going on, what we're up to, and what we're doing. Now, this build obviously is coming to 2 different parts because it was a little bit weird. We basically, we went between 2 different versions on the server. We've been between 2 different replay configuration mods as well. And now we're here where I didn't do an intro right at the beginning, and now that's why there's no intro. There's just me talking. So it's a little bit different to the norm on this one. So I do apologize. It's a little bit weird for me as well, but we've managed to put together what we want because the content, I'm actually going to be really happy with at the end. Just, you know, look at the progress and where we get to. So let's just kind of go through that now. So thank you very much for watching the time lapse, guys, and for those that do subscribe and comment and like all that type of stuff, the shorts and everything will all come out for this content here. But we're really at the early stages, and I'm already starting to like it, and the comments have been fantastic on the live streams. But just for those that watch YouTube exclusively, you might not saw quite a lot of the progress here. So since we moved in with the ship, as you saw in the time lapse, we cleared out the entire area with Luna, so that was all nice and cleared out, and we've done it in the sort of layers that I want to build upon. What I found though is I didn't have a storage system. So at the bottom, I've started to put the blocks in a way which is meaningful to me, where that's the primary block palette for a lot of the architecture. Up here's a lot of the sort of the mid-tier blocks from the woods, sort of the copper, granite, diorite, stone, and stuff that we'll be using throughout the build. Up top, ores, nether end, and all sort of lighting effects, moss, gunpowder, organics. We don't have that many. And then stuff and things across the top that just, you know, are just things, you know. A little bit of a smelting system. So I did have to increase my storage capacity for this before I started building. So you might not have saw me do this. I did it on stream, I think. No, I didn't do it on stream. I just did it in my own time. Here, though, is the block palette that I spoke about on stream. We didn't include the calcite. You might have noticed in the build there was no calcite. We actually took that off the build because it just was a little bit too much. So we went from the stripped pale oak, smooth quartz, bone block, mushroom stem. And without naming them individually, I just want to thank the guys on this community server. There's been a lot of help so far. There's been a lot of diamonds spent on materials. But I just want to thank the people that have obviously contributed, helped, and donated a lot of the blocks to the build. You know who you are. I really appreciate every single one of you who did do it. Mushroom stem, quartz, diorites. You know, I've got quite a lot of it myself in preparation, but without the other guys, it certainly wouldn't have been as possible. All right, so let's just take you down. So this will be the lower ground floor of the city. And as I say, I'll link all the descriptions to the persons who inspired me for this build, so you can kind of have a little look yourselves and check them out. Phenomenal voxel artist, and you know, it really, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I would love to build that in Minecraft. And here we are. So I'll kind of take you down and kind of explain some of the pieces. So we've got the main fence up here using the sort of the pale wood variants. The walls itself obviously are all built up. I'll go into free cam so you can see it. From the tough, mossy cobblestone, andesite, polished andesite, pale, quartz, bone block, mushroom. And the mushroom is meant to be like the shadow underneath the top. This obviously runs all the way along, and will run away all the way along the bottom of the build. I haven't quite finished the paths all the way around. This is where we got to on Friday's stream. Forget what date that would have been, the 21st of March. And we got up to here. So again, there's a little path. You can see it up nice and close. And this is where one of the first builds is going to go, is in here. Inspired by my starter base. So if you want to know what I'm building here, look at my starter base for inspiration. All builds are available on the Patreon. But this is going to be sort of a continuous build over the next sort of 3 to 5 months. I think it's going to take me on live streams. So if you want to tune in on YouTube lives or TikTok lives or Twitch, wherever you watch your live content, you should see me. I'll put all the links below again if you're interested. But it'll be a 3 to 5 month project, I think, to get this all finished. And I'll post regular videos, maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, of the actual overall build progress, along with a lot of the YouTube shorts and reels on Instagram and all that type of stuff. To try and keep you all in the further loop if I can. So yeah, so it goes all the way along. It's going to be quite a big build. Takes me all the way to the outside wall here, which we've got a huge sort of plan for that we'll do later on. But yeah, so we're kind of getting there. So the next steps for this project that you'll see in the next episode will be part number 2. Is we'll probably be starting to add the rest of the paths in along the bottom and along that top side there. Maybe some organics. I do have plans for a little bit of organics to be potentially added in along this corner and along this edge, just in here. Some bushes and some trees potentially. And then the first build, as I said, it's going to go into here. Quite a big one. I think it's about 20 blocks, 25 blocks tall, so it's going to be quite big. And from the free cam area, you can see there's a build plan to go here. Organics up the side. And then another build up the side there and over to the far left. The far left is probably going to be the busy condensed area. I think there's going to be quite a huge influx of buildings all in here. And that's what's going to take the longest. Because I'm not going to plan it. I'm just going to build it, see what happens, and go with the flow. And you guys are going to be there for the journey, hopefully. But I just want to say thank you again to everyone who has subscribed. I said earlier, we hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, and I'm so proud. I'm so happy. You guys enjoy the content. I enjoy making it. I know it's not as hugely edited as what it could be. I just don't have the time these days. But you know, being able to stream 3 times a week, record the content when I'm live streaming, and then put it into a video to watch is probably the most I can do to kind of make sure I get all forms of content out there at the same time. And I think it's doing quite well. But I'll leave you with that at the moment. Thank you very much for those who obviously do hang out. And yeah, I'll have to zoom out here and leave you with this final look of the build. I'm so happy with it. Really pleased. And I cannot wait for you guys to see the finished build in the future. But for now, I'll catch you all later. Take care, and again, if you want to join us, the Discord is there. If you want to join this server, you certainly can. It's just channel points on Twitch. However, I'll see you all in the next episode in the not too distant future. Till then, take care, speak soon, and yeah, bye for now.